Okay, so in this presentation I'm talking about the ecosystem, which goes beyond just the technical platform of bada. And in this presentation I'm going to cover essentially two things again. So it's basically about support which Samsung offers if you're a developer in your development stage, and second, if you're a seller then in your seller stage. Okay, so to maybe briefly recap or summarize what our bada ecosystem is about. So on the right-hand side of this chain, or on the right-hand side of this circle actually, we have the customer who wants to buy or download applications, or better, who we want to buy applications. And on the other hand, there are the developers, so it's basically you. And in between that is the bada ecosystem, which provides all the necessary means to allow this process. So there are three core building blocks of bada, right? The first one is the technical platform, which we already discussed a lot. The second core building block is in the middle, which is developer support, which I'm going to talk in this presentation. And the last one is then the application store, which you need to provide your applications for free download, to sell, or even to promote. And again, also for this we provide some support, which I'm going to introduce to you. Alright, as I say, at the moment we have 6 devices out there in several markets, geographical markets. We're going to work on that to diversify our portfolio. By end of last year, I mentioned that already, we sold 5 million bada phones. End of first half this year, we estimate to achieve 10 million phones. And we're going to enter some more interesting and exciting markets as well. So at the moment we're not present, for instance, at the United States, but this year we're going to enter this market as well, which is quite interesting and exciting for us. There is Samsung Apps, as I said already, which is currently available in 118 countries, and we have a total number of downloads currently of 80 million. Okay. Right. So what is the bada developer support all about? Basically, we differentiate that into 3 different stages. The first one is support during development. The second one is support during market registration and certification, so which is basically the quality assurance mechanisms built into bada. And the third one is then application sales. So now let's go into some details regarding each of these 3 stages. The first one is development. So we provide many different means of support for developers. The first one is technical documents. All these technical documents can be obtained from our main entry point to bada, which is our developer site at developer.bada.com. And there you basically find a collection of all the tools, all the documents, everything you need to get started with bada. Well, basically, we have our download section where you can get all the tools which Daxo presented earlier as one bundle. So it's everything you need. It's the SDK, it's the Eclipse-based IDE, it's all the testing tools, it's all the documentation. So everything is in that bundle. So you can consume all these tools or documents offline on your desktop, or you can also find all this information online on the developer site. So these are things like the API reference documentation, of course, UI guides, application guides, tutorials, and all the rest of it. Then we also hold on our developer site a blog. On this blog we regularly post discussions about technical issues. So for instance, how to show maps in bada. So we provide a blog post which discusses in very detailed steps how you can integrate maps into your bada application. This of course also holds source code which is explained and documented. The next type of support we provide during development is education. In terms of education, we differentiate between offline education and online education. One type of offline education is that we provide bada Developer Days. So these are some training days and developer days all around the world. Last year we did 40 developer days all around the whole globe, and we're going to continue this year as well. Second type of offline lecture is that we try to be available on all major conferences or congresses and exhibitions like the IFA, CES, or Mobile World Congress. And another thing is that we're also engaged with universities. So we have some strong relationships with selected universities where we go there, teach about bada, supervise students, provide the opportunities for internships, and all the rest of it. So that's actually to tighten up the links with future developers coming from universities. All right, and then in terms of online education, we provide on our developer site as well as on YouTube our own dedicated video channel. So again, these are short videos explaining some topics in a very concise and detailed way. Like for example, how to use the UI builder in bada. So there's a video which gives a detailed explanation about how to use the UI builder. All right, yeah, I mentioned that earlier. We recently published our bada book, and again, I would like to remind you of your voucher. So please have a look at your welcome pack. As I said, the first 200 people registered today got this voucher. Go to the Wiley stand, John Wiley, which is in Hall 2, and collect a free copy of the bada book. The bada book has 300 pages full of bada, and it's usually we sell it for 35 or 36 euros. So just grab a free copy if you want. One nice thing which I particularly like about this bada book is that it's very, very practical. So about the second half of this book is where we provide what we call code recipes. So these are very defined problem statements which cover problems which are reoccurring often. Like for example, I know how to use the web control in your bada application. It's a very detailed problem. We provide a code solution explaining how to do that in bada. So there are 45 recipes in the book, discussed in the book, and we extend the number of recipes also on our website. So if you're interested, just check back on our website. We're going to publish more and more recipes there. And you also get the source code for download if you're interested. So just feel free to take it, nick it, and use it in your code. Right, the next type of support is interactive development. So that means, again, on our website we host a forum which allows you to discuss with other bada developers any issues or to review any issues. And the forum is actually moderated and monitored by us, by bada experts, who give answers to particular questions. We currently provide this forum in 3 languages, namely English, Chinese, and Korean. Another offline support which we provide is dedicated troubleshooting events. So this is what we call development clinics. That is more on a regional basis where we invite people and offer them the possibility to share news, to share tips, and actually to really sit down and troubleshoot their problems. So that is very, very effective, and we're going to pursue this in the future and concentrate on this even more. And this will happen on a quite regional basis. Okay, something we mentioned already earlier is the possibility of using our remote test lab. So just in case you don't have a phone available, a bada phone available, you can at any time make use of our physical devices in those labs. Or even if you would like to test on different models, it's also possible because we host a broad range of different bada devices, so you can test your application also on different models. So that's very useful, very handy. It all goes over the web, and the necessary plugins are all provided in our IDE. Okay, for our partners, we have 2 special programs. The first one is called Premium Support Service. So that is really a one-to-one support for your very, very tricky questions. That is all confidential. So we keep it very, very confidential and respect your business ideas, of course. It's totally free of charge. It's usually pretty quickly, so you can expect an answer within 2 or 3 days. And it's currently posted in 3 languages again: English, Chinese, and Korean. Second special program for bada partners is a device loan scheme. So if you would like to use a device and test your application or test any specific issues, you can come to us and make use of this device loan scheme. Now, these 2 services are especially available for partners. It is not extremely difficult to become a Samsung partner. On our developer website, developer.bada.com, we're going to open up our own menu where you can apply partnership with Samsung Bada. So that's actually quite easy to become a partner and then make use of these services. Okay, so that was the first bit the first area where we provide support. The second area is then support during market registration and certification. So there are 3 different channels where you can actually promote your application. So this can either be on the Samsung Apps website, or it can be on the on-device client, which is shipped with every Bada phone. And the third opportunity is to use a desktop software, which is called Keys. This can also be used to distribute and promote your application. Our certification process basically covers 6 steps. That is our way in Bada to guarantee a certain level of quality. So we basically start with taking your application, register it on the Samsung Apps website. Then what happens is some pre-examination, and now then this is the really tricky and important part, which is quite detailed analysis and quality control of your application. That covers 3 basic steps. The first one is a content review, just to make sure that there are no copyrighted or prohibited contents used. The second type of test is a functional device test, so it's really your application is deployed on a physical device and it's tested. And the third one is then a summary of the report and a confirmation back to the developer. So our target is to provide these 3 steps within 7 business days. Since we get so many applications registered at the moment, we're not always able to stick to these 7 days, but we're definitely improving. At the moment, around 18% of all the submitted applications are delayed. All the rest is going fine. And that's actually an improvement, because end of last year we were at 21% or so. And that's still despite the fact that the number of registrations is increasing. Okay, once you passed this step, then you're able to sell and promote your application on Samsung Apps. Right, one thing which we noticed is very, very useful is a so-called self-checklist. So before you submit your application on Samsung Apps, we strongly recommend to have a look at our publisher guide and the self-checklist. It's essentially just 2 or 3 pages which highlights the most common defects. And if you try to respect this self-checklist, your whole certification process will be much simplified for you, and you can avoid those simple defects upfront, which is very, very useful. Okay, then at the end, as I said, what you get back is a detailed test results report. And if we detected any defects, what you get is a short video clip which shows you in a detailed way where and when this defect happens and what you should do in order to avoid this defect. Okay, and now we arrive at the last area where we provide support, which is when you actually managed to develop and register your application successfully, then you can start selling your application. And to boost your application sales, we provide 3 means which you can use through the Samsung App Store. The first one is you can use banners to promote your applications. So either you as a seller can say, oh, okay, I would like to promote my application with banners, but it can also happen the other way around, so that we as Samsung approach you and say, okay, your application is really nice, what about doing some promotions by using banners? So that's also possible. Second thing, obviously, is only possible for paid apps. So you can, if you want, provide a discount for your apps And you can actually do that on a country-based level. So you can provide a discount for one country and not for another one if you want. And the third one is promotion of events. So if you would like to hold an event promoting your application, you can also promote the event itself by using Samsung apps. And this is then shown on the Samsung apps website as well as on the on-device client of your phone. So all these three mechanisms are free of charge. They are all available for free apps and paid apps, but not the discount, obviously. Discount is only for paid apps, but all the other stuff is available for both applications, for both types of applications. Right. Last thing which I would like to mention is if you would like to stay in touch with us, there are a couple of communication channels which you can use. So the first one, of course, is our developer site, developer.bada.com, which I recommend you to have a look at. And then we also exploit social media channels. So we have one Twitter channel, which is Samsung Bada. And we also have our YouTube channel, which is called Bada Developers. So just feel free to join and have a look at what's going on there. Okay, all right. That was it so far regarding the ecosystem. I will be around for the whole day, either out there or on the panel later on. So just feel free to ask me any questions. Thank you very much.